All right, number 26. A gear ratio R to S is a ratio of the number of T's of two connected gears. The ratio of the number of revolutions per minute, RPM, of two gear wheels is S to R. In the diagram below, gear A is turned by a motor. The turning of gear A causes gear B and C to turn as well. All right. So it says if gear A is rotated by the motor at a rate of 100 RPM, what's the number of revolution per minute for gear C? Okay. So we know from the picture that gear A had 20 teeth, gear B has 60 teeth, and then gear C 10 teeth. Okay. So gear A rotated at a rate of 100 RPM. So RPM is revolution per minute, right? So in 1 minute, it spins around 100 times pretty much. Okay. So for this question, we could set up like a ratio using the number of T's, right? And then the RP and the rate. Okay, we can try to set up like a ratio, but I think an easier way to do this is we can just think about here, although we know some gears are bigger, some are smaller, right? So, but then what they have in common is that you see all the T's, they all overlap, right? So they line up exactly. So as gear A spin around, then the RPM will be different because the bigger gear will spin at a slower rate, right? Because it's bigger. And the smaller one, right, for same number of T's will spin faster because it's smaller. But we know the total number of T's must be the same, no matter which gear we're talking about, because all the T's they line up perfectly. Okay, so the total number of T's going through in 1 minute should be the same for all three gears. Right, so we can use that, and then we can actually just give gear B as well. We can just connect A and C directly because we know the total number of T's have to be the same for A and C as well. Okay, so what we can do is we can say for gear A, we have 20 T's in 1 revolution. So we have 100 revolution 1 minute. So for gear A, we can solve for the total number of T's that we have in 1 minute. Okay, so it will be 20 times 100. Okay, so in 1 minute, spin around 100 times. Each time we spin around is 20 T's. So it'll be 20 times 100. This will give us 2,000. Okay, so in 1 minute, gear A, well, this is gear A, will go through 2,000 T's. Okay, so this is 2,000 T's. And we said, right, for gear C, although it's smaller, but the total number of T's had to be the same, right? So in that 1 minute, gear C also had to pass through 2,000 T's. But since it's 2,000 T's and gear C, each revolution only had 10 T's, we'll have to spin at a faster rate, right? To make up the difference to give us a total of 2,000. So how fast does it spin? Right, we want to know how many revolutions per minute. We can just take the total 2,000 and we can divide it by the number of T's for each revolution. And that should give us how many revolutions per minute. Okay, so take the total 2,000 divided by 10. We're going to get 200. Okay, so 200 RPM. All right, and that should be our answer, which is letter C. All right, so pretty much the idea here is the bigger the gear, right, the slower the RPM. The smaller RPM, and then the smaller the gear, the faster you have to spin, right? So the bigger RPM, right? But the overall total for the number of T's should be the same. Okay, so you can use that to help us solve this question. All right, so for number 26, our final answer is just letter C, 200.